One of the themes I come across a lot is a problem around definitions. People, particularly even in enterprise architecture, still struggle with the idea that definitions need to be consistent everywhere. Otherwise, we don't get communication. We lose clarity. We've got a real Tower of Babel problem here. Now, when we go to different businesses, they've all got a random collection of terminology, which is all context specific. Every business describes business system versus business capability versus business unit versus business service in different ways. And we have to be able to support the fact that they're all different. We need to be able to support the fact that while translating between natural languages like English and French are bad enough, translating between finance and HR is a huge problem. We need consistent terminology at the root to be able to handle things well. So one thing I've been working on for a long time and really want to promote is a simple, consistent set of terminology that is the same everywhere at every level. So a service is described in the same way, regardless of whether it's a web service executed by code, a service of changing sheets of an ill person, a very much in-person service, or whether we're talking about the services of the organisation as a whole, or environmental or ecology services provided by trees. We describe them in exactly the same way. So they all have assets, functions, capabilities, locations, events and decisions. That's a consistent way of describing a service. So the same thing means the same thing, the same term means the same thing everywhere. Having that kind of core also makes it easier to support translation. The catch is that that kind of terminology is somewhat abstract, so we need to be careful not to try to force it on others and say there's only one term. There's only one way of describing an abstract thing. But in the real world, it's always going to be context specific. The other thing that connects with this is about standards. There are many standards and we need to follow them, and with good reason, because they help us with communication and getting things working the same way. Sometimes we do need to break the standard. That can't be avoided sometimes. But we need to know why we're breaking a standard. We also need to know when we're breaking a standard, and we better have a good reason for breaking a standard. Because standards and definitions aid in communication. If we mess them up, or if we're careless about them, we will be causing trouble for ourselves and others. Definitions matter. We need to remember that in enterprise architecture.